This Shabbos we begin to read Parsha Vayikra, Sefer Vayikra. We know the Sefer Vayikra as a sefer, as a book, is completely different than the sefer which precedes it and the sefer that comes after it. Sefer Shemais is a continuation of the story of the Avos HaKadoshim of coming to Mitzrayim and the Yitzias Mitzrayim, the Avdus Mitzrayim, the Yitzias Mitzrayim, and then there's the building of the Mishkan. And then in Sefer Bamidbar, the next Sefer, we continue the story of the Yidden in the Midbar. But now in Sefer Vayikra, the focus is totally on halachas, the halachas of primarily Teres Kohanim, like the Sefer is called, primarily the halachas of the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. But not only that, many halachas and many mitzvahs which are included in this Sefer. How does the parsha begin? Vayikra Moshe Vayidaber Hashem Elov Me'el Meid Leimor. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu called and spoke to Moshe Leimor, to say further. Many explanations. What does it mean, Leimor? And right away in the next pasuk it says again, Daber b'nei Yisrael v'amarta aleim. Speak to b'nei Yisrael and tell to b'nei Yisrael and speak v'amarta aleim. Speak to them. What's this extra lashon of amira which constantly comes up? And as we know, the most oft repeated pasuk in the entire Torah, Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe Leimor, to say. What is this to say? Many different explanations. The Chazal already give explanations. And Nitziv says one of the explanations of the word amira, of oimer, means to expand whatever is being said. We have the information, and then there's the expanding of the information. The give and take. And the explanation of what was said is called amira. Leimor, to explain it further. And says the Netziv that right at the beginning, right when we start learning the Torah, we start learning the mitzvahs of the Torah in an intense manner in the Sefer Vayikra. So the Torah tells us twice, Leimor v'amarta aleim, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe to tell the Yidden the Torah, don't give them the complete information as it is. That's not possible. Torah always will have two chalakim. Even from the very first moment of Moshe Rabbeinu teaching the Torah to Klal Yisrael, there was the written Torah, Torah Shebechsav, and Torah Sheba'al Peh, the continuation of the expansion of the Limud HaTorah. More so, says the Heilige Netziv, says that in the Yerushalmi, Talmud Yerushalmi says in Masech Sanhedrin, Amar Rabbi Yana ilu nitna Torah chatucha lehoya l'regel amida. Says the Gemara in the Yerushalmi, if Torah would be given cut up. What does it mean cut up? It means given, like the Pnei Moshe there explains, given in its completion, already ready to be ingested, like a meal is like everything is ready, set out, then the world would not stand. What do you mean the world would not stand? We wouldn't have any limud HaTorah. We would have a book, we would have all the information, encyclopedia of Judaism, and open encyclopedia, and anything we need to know, we would know. That's not Torah. That's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants when He gave us the Torah. He gave us the Torah that there should be information, there's Torah Shebechsav, and then there's Torah Sheba'al Peh. And these two words of Leimor and V'amarta aleim are two of the aspects of Torah Sheba'al Peh. What does that mean? Leimor is the explanations of the Torah which come with all the different methods of learning Torah. Yud Gimel Midrash Torah, and there's some of the other things. And there's also the other aspect of Torah Sheba'al Peh is sometimes we have a Torah Sheba'al Peh which explains a word. We have to put the tefillin beinei neichem. Where it's beinei neichem, not in between our eyes. Beinei neichem is on our forehead in the place which is the center, which is centered between the eyes on the forehead. When the Torah says, when the Torah says Mimacharas HaShabbos, Sfir Siren begins the day after Shabbos. We all know, as Chazal explained, not like the Sidukim thought, that it means the day after Shabbos, it means the day after the first day of Pesach. It says Shabbos, Shabbos means Pesach. Sometimes we need Chazal to explain a word. Why didn't the Torah just say Mimacharas HaPesach? No, we have to have a word in the Torah and then we have to explain it. That's the Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's the beauty of the Torah Sheba'al Peh, which is never ending until today. Even after Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Rabbeinu HaKadosh wrote the Mishnah, and after Rabbeinu Rav Ashi wrote the Gemara, and since then the Rishonim, the Achronim, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of Sfarim have been written, but that doesn't end our quest for knowledge. Our quest for knowledge begins with Torah Shebechsav and continues and continues and continues. If not, the world would not stand. Our lives depend on Limud HaTorah, and therefore Limud HaTorah must be a continuous and an everlasting quest of learning more and more and more until we come to a certain conclusion, and then we go further and deeper into that. Never ends. It's not that we have finally an end and then we close the book and we put it back on the shelf. There's no such thing. Torah has to be continuous. And from the very first pasuk in Vayikra, when we're starting to go into the mitzvahs HaTorah in an intense way and in a detailed manner, the Torah tells us, Vayikra Hashem, Vayikra El Moshe Vayidaber Hashem Elov Me'el Leimor. Always V'amarta. Always there has to be an expansion. Always there has to be continuation. Torah Sheba'al Peh is never ending. It would be zeiche to be constantly involved in the limud HaTorah, constantly involved in the Torah Shebechsav and the Torah Shebal Peh, in order that we should be able to have a source of life. Ki hem chayenu, erech imenu. Good Shabbos.